We're going to do some questions. You know what we can play later a lot. We're going to have a good time today. So,
louder! Louder!
We
got a roaming microphone somewhere right over here. If you've got a question, go ahead and stick your hand up.
Testicle 1, 2.
Oh, no, he didn't.
I mean, testicle. Same thing, you know what I mean.
All right, so first question from the man in the Ranger shirt. Yes?
Hey Bruce.
How's it going?
Hey Eric.
How you doing?
You've worked with Paul and Gene for a while, and you pretty much know how they think. With this reunion tour going on, I just wanted to ask about Eric Carr. If he was alive today, would he still be a part of this reunion tour since he was in the band longer than Peter? What do you think?
It's a good question. I have a few theories about it, you know. Certainly, I would still think Peter Criss would get the, what's the proper word? The primary choice, good one, right. Only because that is, he is the original drummer. But obviously, if Peter wasn't up to snuff or whatever, it probably could have worked very well with Eric because he was well loved and had a definite makeup character, But I think they would have really gone with Peter anyway and just tried to make that work, and they did anyway. Peter did. I saw the one gig, which is pretty damn amazing. He got through that whole tour. That they did it. So what? It is amazing. Come on, it's a grueling tour. It is, to have to get in shape after not really being on those kind of tours for a long time. Those guys worked hard at it, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed the shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your brother Bob had worked with Paul on his solo album and stuff.
Right.
Did that help you get into the band when they were looking for a guitar player?
Well, look, I had the home court advantage being a New Yorker, first of all, having my brother. And this was in like the late 70s, 77, 78, and I hadn't met Gene until about 82, actually, okay? But, I was very fortunate, and obviously, when they needed someone to help them out, they realized, they heard from other people besides my brother that Bruce was a good player and you'll get along with him. But it certainly helps being in the right place at the right time and knowing people. That's a lot about any business, okay? So, had the little home court advantage there. Really Paul's house, sorry, okay, yeah. It was one of my first times to spend some time in Los Angeles, and that was just like so bizarre to me, Los Angeles was, even though I've been living there now for like over 10 years, that flipped me out. All those, girls, and I think half of them were like porno stars or something, which was a little, I was pretty...
They became porno stars.
Yeah, after the audition with Gene and Paul, whatever. But, no, I know Eric Carr and myself weren't real happy with the, how much we were included, but we didn't have any control over that, so we did the best I could with it, and I think the monkey came out good.
Was that Michael Jackson's monkey?
Yeah.
Bubbles?
Hi Eric, hi Bruce, how you doing? I'm a big
Fine,
fan of you
how you
guys. Bruce, my friend Debbie wants to know if you're going to let her clean your tour bus.
Debbie, we met. Debbie's a very nice girl who we met at Specs a few days ago, and when we get to which city? That was actually in Sarasota. Yeah. I kept her card. We will give her a call. Maybe she can even travel a little bit with us and keep the bus tidy. Actually, she should work for Gene. He needs that.
Eric, Bruce, Neko Taikoka from Tampa Bay. Glad to have you here, and thanks for your... I wanted to know if any of you two musicians are going to have any collaboration with the new Psycho Circus CD coming out.
Well,
Not me.
It remains to be seen. I mean, you may or may not know, but I got a chance to do a couple of demos with Paul, and there's one thing I kind of helped out a little bit, but I don't know what they're actually going to cut and what they're using, you see what I mean? So it's very premature for me to say, oh, I co-wrote something on the new album, and I won't do that. I mean, I'm smart enough not to, the person who's always like tooting their horn about something, later on it gets, you know, the candy gets taken away, you know, and it would obviously be a very cool thing, but I'm not presuming anything. I know they're cutting way more songs than just an album's worth, because they're still like looking at what they want to be on this next record. And, you know, outside of a little bit of stuff with Paul, you know, I couldn't say what's going on, but I know they're working really hard and they're recording again now, so we'll see what happens, you know. I think it's going to be a really good record, because I can tell that they're spending enough time to make sure that they're doing it right. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. But either way, you know, I think they'll get a good record out of it, regardless of my involvement or not.
Thank you. That's much better. Question for Eric. Back when the Unplugged convention was touring around, you guys did the LA show. It was your idea, at least most accounts, it was your idea to get Peter Criss to join the band on stage. Did you have any idea what was going to happen after that? I mean, you kind of got the ball rolling for the whole...
No, I didn't get the ball rolling. A lot of people like to read into that, think because he came up and jammed, that's the reason that all of a sudden they did the reunion. No, Gene and Paul, I think, had this in mind for quite a long time. Those were probably just little ways of testing to see how things might work out.
Do a lot of people kind of seem to think that was sort of your thing, though? I mean,
oh yeah, that's what I just said. A lot of people seem to read into that, thinking that, like, oh, Eric, don't you feel bad that you're the one that asked Peter? You said, why'd you have Peter jam, and now they did the reunion? No, that had nothing to do with it. But believe me, they had their own. I'm sure they had their own idea of what they were planning.
Hey, Dave. We got
promotion.
Okay.
There was no promotion. They did one interview in Metal Edge, and that was it. So, I mean, that was Gene and Paul's choice not to promote the record.
What do you guys think of that record?
I'm sorry?
What do you think of the record?
I mean, in light of, I wish it would have come out at a better time, but you know, we're glad that it did come out. Unfortunately, I mean, I wish it would have had like some better packaging, a little bit of, you know, it would have been nice if we could have done some shows behind it or done some videos or something to be, you know, to go along with it. It kind of like came out almost just like a bootleg, almost, you know. It's like they replaced the bootleg with another bootleg-looking product, but at least it sounded right, and you guys got to have a decent-sounding record.
With I Walk Alone.
The Union album was so hard to find when that was first issued, and
Right.
a quick question too.
Yeah, no, that's who work real hard, but they don't have the kind of money of, you know, Atlantic or Mercury, you know, they just don't. I mean, I've seen their offices, and they're in little, like, cubicles, and you go to Mercury, and it's in this, like, skyscraper, okay? You know, so you gotta understand that, right?
It's killer anyway.
But, well, thank you. But the distributor actually isn't that bad. It's just, it's harder for them to bully product into stores. The distributor is called ADA, which is actually owned by Warner Atlantic, okay? So, and they do a good job, but stores have to be, they don't order as many things from them as, you know, they usually do from Polygram and the other labels. But if you go into stores and you ask for it and you talk about it, they will order it. They won't make you buy it then anyway, so then at least it's stocked, you know. And part of what John and I have been doing for the past like month and a half is traveling with just these acoustic guitars and visiting radio stations, not having it yet. Meanwhile, John's good friends with somebody that works there, so we have to have a little talk with him and figure out what's going on there, you know. But it's word of mouth, man, and I appreciate whoever's got it, that digs it, that's great. And tell 10 friends, and if the store doesn't have it, it doesn't mean that you can't get it. It just might take another week, and that's the store will order it, and you'll get it, you know, it just takes time.
Shit, I got it.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs are being rejected, like Ace's songs and Peter, a lot of them aren't.
Apparently, I know Ace wrote some things that I heard actually a couple of the ideas were really cool. And apparently they all went back in their corners to write some more. And it doesn't mean that that riff can't be resurrected and done something to. And I'd be disappointed if Ace obviously didn't have material on the record as long as you guys, okay? So something will happen, but you know, and Gene's correct in what he was saying, that if they write, Gene literally does write a ridiculous number of songs that get rejected, of course. And I know some of the things that Paul cut aren't going on the record, so it's not that uncommon. I think people like to read into it a lot. But unless you're going to hear it straight from Ace or Peter's mouth, you know, they're going to get through this record and they're going to make a good record.
Thanks.
Okay. If it kills them.
Yeah. I really liked your guys' Carnival Souls. I thought it was a brilliant album. I thought it was a shame that it didn't get promoted. My question for you, Bruce, is how is it working with Michael Bolton?
Michael Bolton, yes. For those that don't know, I had a band with him in the real late 70s called Blackjack, which, you know, we were very, very close when we first started working together. And I learned a lot from Michael in the sense of, he always had a couple of key words, like priorities, you know. And the guy was very, very, very hardworking. Not unlike Gene and Paul, actually. Would do anything for his career and you know, really fight the battle, you know, one by one. And I respect the guy, and I'm not surprised he's where he is, okay? Because he never gave up, and when the rock thing didn't work, he used to write kind of pop, you know, bluesy, you know, blue-eyed soul, whatever you want to call what he does. And then every house mother, you know, housewife fell in love with him, and he became a huge star, you know. So I give him a lot of respect. I don't think he, you know, is real proud of the Blackjack rock era that he did, but, you know, I am. I learned a lot from that. Even though I don't think it was my best work, but that's how you learn. You gotta, you know, you can look at things that don't happen and your past and your career as a failure, or they're all successes that lead you on and keep improving you, and that's what Blackjack was for me. And I don't exactly hear from him too often, but when we bump into each other, he's really cool with me. I mean, he's just like, he's on top of the hill.
I wasn't dissing.
I know. No, but some people ask me, it's kind of funny, you know, but you know, there he is on the Grammys, you know, there he is at the Oscars, you know, I mean, and now he's going to, you know, tour with Winona, you know.
Winona Jim?
Yeah, well, I think he's been doing his the daughter. Keep it in the family there. She's a nice. He knows how to hold the mic. Yeah, we're going to take pictures, we're going to do...
Okay, you guys rule. Eric, all them years you were, you know, pretty much sticks for hire, traveling before you committed to KISS. You played with many talented acts, and then you finally committed to KISS. Are you ready to commit to another group?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I got to find the right situation. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting into something again, you know, where I could sink my teeth into it.
We're looking
But
forward
it's got to be the right thing, you know. I got to feel passionate about what I'm doing, you know.
Eric and Bruce, what would happen in the future maybe if KISS decided to take off the makeup and maybe just, you know, have you guys in again? Would you be willing to rejoin KISS?
You know, you never say never. Just like Gene and Paul said, they always would say never say never about doing a reunion. I mean, they always kept telling you guys for all these years, oh, we're not going to do that, there's no need to. But they always would say never. And of course now, then we know what they did. So, I mean, that's the way you got to look at life. Take it one day at a time, and you cross that bridge if and when you get to it. So because you never know what might be happening. You know, let's say 2 years hypothetically down the road, Bruce could be like really solid and happy with his union band and say, hey, you know, I got my own thing. I don't want to go back to doing that. There's no need to do that. So you don't really know, you know.
But yeah, even though you left a band that
was hanging out with my boys. No, you know, they're all really cool with us. And he comes over to me and he goes, you know, I got a makeup guy for you. He said, you could be the Badger. They're nasty mothers, you know. And he was describing like I'd have like little stripes around my eyes or something. I'm like, oh boy, what glue is he on, you know? But you know, the fact that he even was thinking about it for me, I was flattered, of course. You know, he's a great singer actually.
They're selling over there, and I also did the double lead vocal on Love Her All I Can with Carl, but I also did lead vocals on this Rod Stewart tribute album. I did a song called Let Me Love You, which is an old Jeff Beck group song. It's kind of an obscure song, so it wouldn't be recognizable, but I'm starting to kind of like try to work on doing a little more vocal kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't sing any leads on the Union record, but there is a bonus track on the Japanese release that I sang lead on. So you know, the domestic one, it's not there. It just was a little different than the rest of the record, and I, you know, as far as I was concerned, John sings great, and I just wanted to feature him on that. But I'll probably live. I'll probably do I Walk Alone, you know, that kind of stuff. We just got to figure out how to do the backwards section, you know. We'll turn around and play it backwards.
For Bruce, I was wondering, now that you have a new band, would you actually consider opening for KISS for the next tour?
Hey, I'd love to do that. I don't want to presume something.
First of all, thanks again for the autographs. These are great.
Cool. All right.
Bruce, in the book Kissery, there was something in the comics section where they were talking about the biography, and they were telling a story about where you were stuck on stage because Paul was in the back having a little fun.
Oh, no.
What show actually did it happen to, and did you really grab Gene's bass and start wailing away on it?
Yes. I don't know what show it was. Someone else would have to tell me. I bet someone here probably knows. I think it was on the Asylum tour, yeah, Asylum. I think part of it, I'm not sure if Paul was just having fun with a woman or having fun with me by leaving me out there, you know. But it kind of freaked me out a little bit, and I had all this adrenaline, all this, you know, kind of anger, frustration type thing that I just like kind of like grabbed Gene's bass instead. He didn't know what to do. You know, he's looking at me like, you know. And it was kind of funny, but I just had to blow off some steam because, you know, as our KISS shows usually, even though they look very relaxed, they're actually very well planned because you need to be between the pyro and the lights and sound crew that will carry. So to suddenly, you know, if I have a solo planned out that's like X amount of time and suddenly it's tripled, you know, I'm out there, it's like hanging without a rope, you know, and I'm falling, you know. So I didn't appreciate that, but you know, we always have little practical jokes with each other on occasion.
And one more thing, what do you think about these autobiographies that are coming out, written by, you know, the biographies that are coming out like Kiss and Sell, Kiss and Tell?
I've only glanced at a few of them, you know, and some of it's true and some of it isn't. You know, it's going to be their, you know, their vision or what they heard. You know, look, it's a fascinating band to read about. I've read the Star and the Inquirer too, so you know, you know, you know, you're not going to see a book from me because I'd rather, you know, I know what my memories are, and I don't mind sharing it with you guys, but I'm not into like really like putting it down in paper. It just doesn't seem that. I'd rather write music than do music, you know.
Enjoy, you know, we're here, we enjoy being around all you people, and you guys should enjoy each other, and you know, you guys all have something in common. That's what's cool about it. So we just take things one day at a time, and you know, I have to admit, at least one thing I was feel really good about, at least Gene and Paul were respectful enough to sit down with us face to face and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And when they decided to say we're going to stay in makeup, they sat down face to face with us. They didn't have a lawyer or some manager send us a fax. I mean, I've heard people getting fired that way, coming home from a tour and having a fax on the machine saying, you're fired. You know, or having some manager, I've been fired before where a manager called me and said, hey, you're fired. You know, the guys in your own band don't tell you. So that was, to me, they did the right thing. They were, you know, they were like diplomatic and like men about it, and that's the way you're supposed to be. So that made soften the blow, I think, a little bit, at least for me.
Oh yeah.
We flew down. Okay, Paul had met these people that were very wealthy. They lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they said, my sister's getting married. We'd like to have KISS play at the wedding. So they flew us down, all of us, our girlfriends and wives, on a little Learjet, and flew us down and picked us up. They were really cool. They picked us up, treated us like, you know, first class everything.
Charlton Heston read the ceremony.
Yeah, at the ceremony at the church, Charlton Heston read from the Bible. They had this big symphony orchestra up in the loft playing, and it was this giant wedding. They had a big 15-piece band, and then we set up at the other end, like a stage like this, and we did Forever, and they had like a little string section playing it. So we're dressed like in suits, playing KISS songs at this wedding, and it was really, that was really trippy. And the funny thing is, after the wedding, 3 months, I think they were divorced 3 months later. Yeah. They owned the hotel where the wedding reception was at. I mean, they had a big tent that was added onto the ballroom to accommodate all the guests that was out in the parking lot. It was like this really elaborate, expensive thing. And then, you know, 3 months later, Paul was, yeah, you got the book.
How much did you spend on that?
Now the song's the same, but the world has changed. Everything she helps me hear, it's all try. She said, love, I don't need it anymore. She said, love, lies in pieces on her floor. Love, I don't need you anymore. She said, love. Picture perfect in her mind. Make believer, the author of a story where the ending always turns out right. So she takes a drag of a cigarette with her head in her hands. She keeps on asking why. Oh, the bad luck comes as good love goes. Trying up a river, but the river's about to run dry.
There you go. We all Yeah. Good to see you.
Nice to be seen.
All right.
I don't know.
You hear that, right? Yeah, I'll give Eric a second to get his stuff together there. So this is just going to be a little, it's a little loose, bear with us, because, yeah, we're just having fun. We're going to bring up a few guests.
Where's John?
What one are we doing? Rock and roll! Yeah. So this is a version of the song from Led Zeppelin 3 called Out on the Clouds. No one's going to sing it, but it's got so many great riffs, nobody asked it. So here we go, Out on Top.
He wants some of my guitar in his.
See if I can get my voice in here.
You're going to sing, we're going to do something from a live 3 and some of the earlier Kiss Out. You got reverb on that thing? Kill it! And is the mono guy out there? Too much! Yeah, there's no guitar in the monitors, probably.
No, shoot.
We'll bring down the keyboards a little bit.
It sounds like
All right, you ready? I'm gonna try this one. Hey, John.
Water. I got it.
Don't change to the 4 chord until you get a nod from us, okay? Still there's a nod. Still there's a nod, okay? Just gonna pop on that G, okay?
A little-known show called Live from the 10 Spot. Tonight, we give you Van Halen playing for the first time ever in Sydney, Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and
1, 2, 1, 2.